There is a very old, you probably know it, there's a very old joke about two entrepreneurs that come to a poor country and see whether there is a potential of opening a shoe shop there. And one, let's call this person a pessimist, sent back a report saying there is no way we can sell any shoes here because nobody wears any shoes. And the second, the optimist, says there's a great potential there. Nobody wears any shoes here. So the same fact, the same principle can be interpreted from different perspectives. And a lot in our life depends on this perspective. Whether you are optimist or pessimist, how do you see where you are in a spectrum of political views, of anything. A lot depend on perspective. So, and there's a phrase that, well, the Torah often does this trick when it takes a verse and then looks from different sides. And here is one of this that comes from this big Torah portion. ואכלת ושבעת וברכת את אדוני אלוהיך על הארץ הטובה אשר נתן לך. When you have eaten, and you will eat and be satisfied, and if that happens, then you have to give thanks to God for the good land given to you. So on here, that verse sparked some very interesting commentaries. So first of all, commentators ask, why is this commandment given at this very point in the Torah? It's a very interesting way of looking at it. Not looking at what it says, but asking the question, why now? Why not in the beginning of the Torah? Why now? So where are we? We are at the end of the 40 years of wandering in the desert, and Moses is giving his last speech to people. It is kind of a blessing from Moses to his people. He knows that he will never see the promised land, but he's trying to set up some principles. For us, modern Jewish people, it might seem obvious that a blessing must be said after food, because this is what many Jewish people do. It's like saying thank you when you receive something nice. But not only when you receive it, but after you've used it as well. So that's the idea. And it was not always the case in Judaism. So Moses delivered this speech, as I said, at the end of the 40-year-old journey to the Promised Land. And the crucial bit here is that he knows that he won't be there to lead the people when they enter. And commentators say he was deeply worried about the Israelites after they enter the Promised Land. He feared they would settle in the land, enjoy its benefits, its fruits, its land, its beauty, and become too comfortable and conclude that they owe nothing to history, their predecessors, and to God. And Moses assumed they would conclude that they alone were responsible for their harvest of plenty. And for this reason, say the rabbis of Talmud have a very long debate about this. Moses warns the Israelites not to eat without pronouncing a blessing before we eat something, and, as this verse says, not eat without saying thanksgiving, and not to enjoy fruits of the land without acknowledging God with words of gratitude. So rabbis go even further. They say that eating or drinking without reciting a prayer afterwards is like stealing from God. It's a very strong message. So strictly speaking, this verse is the foundation for reciting grace after meal in Judaism, and the most logical human condition and the most logical way is to say thank you before you eat, right? You receive something nice, say thank you, and then eat. But why does Judaism develop the blessing after? According to the Talmudic rabbis, it is done to remind people not to take their comfort and satisfaction for granted. Again, let's look at the context. Another context. The underlying theme of this week's Torah portion is Moses remembering what happened in the past. Moses remembered many past events that occurred to people, and most of them, to be honest, are people complaining. It's a long chain of what bad happens to the Jewish people in this week's portion. Torah commentators ask why Moses needs to remind people about all the rebels, all wars, unpleasant past experience, and the long and tiring journey through the desert. Haven't we already read about it in the books of Exodus and Numbers? We did. Why do we need to be reminded? And by the way, the book of Deuteronomy, that's what it means. The second repetition of the law, or of what happened, of the past moments. Why do we need a reminder at the end of the journey? The 13th century Spanish commentator Nachmanides, Ramban, says that such recollections place pride into perspective. And it's important precisely at the moment of celebration, because they're about to enter the land. They know that they've achieved the goal. They're about to celebrate. Prosperity and comfort, rabbis say, or Nachmanides say, can become as big a test of humanity as poverty and tragedy. Therefore, knowledge of historical events can serve as something that moderates human self-centered flattery. History, when taught properly, humbles people. It prevents arrogant assumptions about human achievements. And therefore, Moses shows people the historical perspective to demonstrate that their triumphs should not only be seen as the work of their own hands, but also the result of the hard work and sacrifices of their ancestors, and an element of luck that some people call God. Albert Einstein once said, "There are only two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle, and the other is as though everything is a miracle." Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel called this principle, the latter, radical amazement, the discipline of never taking things for granted, of being astonished by the very fact that we exist. Moses' message is, I think, the same. Don't let the comfort dull your sense of wonder. Living without the sense of miracle and a larger purpose is to see life's challenges as only burdens. But living your life with understanding of miracles is to see them as opportunities for growth. The same is true about our achievements. We must never forget the sacrifices and guidance that have brought us to this point. As we enter this Shabbat, I hope that we will find strength and perspective to navigate our lives with humility and a sense of gratitude. And I would like to finish with this poem. The poem is called Thanks by W.S. Merwin. Listen. Listen. With the night falling, we are saying thank you. We are stopping on the bridges to bow from the railings. We are running out of the glass rooms with our mouth full of blood to look at the sky and say thank you. We are standing by the water, thanking it, standing by the windows, looking out in our direction, back from the series of hospitals, back from the mugging after funerals. We are saying thank you. After the news of the dead, whether or not we knew them, we are saying thank you. Over telephones, we are saying thank you. In doorways and in the backs of cars and in elevators, remembering wars and the police at the door and the beatings of the stairs, we are saying thank you. In the banks, we are saying thank you. In the faces of the officials and the rich, and of all who will never change, we go on saying thank you. Thank you. With the animals dying around us, our lost feelings, we are saying thank you. With the forest falling faster than the minutes of our lives, we are saying thank you. With the words going out like cells of a brain, with the cities growing over us, we are saying thank you faster and faster. With nobody listening, we are saying thank you. We are saying thank you and waving, dark though it is. There are millions of reasons for us to focus on what's not good, not working and not hopeful. Although it might be true, it must not stop us from being grateful for what we have now. Shabbat Shalom.